Hey everyone, welcome to Stand and Empower. This is Lisette Lee, and in today's segment, I have my special guest, Jane Poston from J2 Media. She's the owner.
Yes, I'm a co-owner of that with my husband. We've owned it for 25 years this year.
That's a long time. Well, congratulations on that.
It is, thank you. Thank you. It's a pretty big achievement for any small business, I know, to be in business that long.
Absolutely.
So we're pretty excited about it.
Well, tell me a little bit about that. How did you come across to being a part of this business, to creating it?
Sure. It started off, I did writing and producing. I was actually in news. I started off in as television news.
Wow.
And then my husband started off in television news as a camera operator.
Okay.
And that's actually how we met, doing the work together. And we did a lot of work when we first met, and before we were married, and when we were first married, we were doing things like Travel Channel and Discovery Channel, and we were traveling all over the world, doing really fun things like top 10 cruises. We got to go to the Playboy Mansion. We did all sorts of crazy stuff. But we were always working for other people.
Yeah.
And we really thought in the bigger picture, in the long run, that we wanted to create it as a business. So we did that together, and that's where we get J2 Media, Jason and Jane.
Oh,
so
I like that.
yeah, so we try not to really bill ourselves as mom and pop, because we are a professional video production company. And then as the world changed, we changed with it. We're old enough or been in business long enough to really have been there for the advent of websites.
Yeah.
So we started off doing videos for websites, and then it sort of evolved into people saying, well, can you do the websites for us? So we brought on a web developer. And then I had done, public relations and marketing and communications for a long time, so we brought in that as well. And now we do full service marketing and communications, but we really keep that core as the video production, just because that's what we love and that's where we started. And it's a lot of fun. So we do a lot of business to business sort of work.
That's very important to do that.
Yes.
Now, with everything that you do, what sparks that passion in you to do this type of business?
I think it's just, I get so excited when I'm a really good sort of second set of ears, and I get so excited when I know I can look at a business and go, oh, I can help you be better. And that is just, there is so much satisfaction from helping a business succeed, helping a business owner succeed, giving them those talking points, helping them organize their business in a way that, sometimes it's so easy to work in your business instead of on your business. I'm guilty of that as well. And that's what we're there for, to help them step back and work on their business a little. And it's really fun when we have businesses. So our best clients are people that are sort of like us, maybe been in business 15, 20 years, and maybe have had an admin assistant doing some of that, have never really taken a professional look at what they do, but they're ready to go to that next step.
It makes a difference.
It really does. And I think they get to a point where they go, you know what, I'm in the position where I don't want to be doing everything anymore. I want to have somebody helping. And that's where we can kind of help them grow to that next level. And we work with startups, we work with large, Fortune 500 companies as well.
Yeah.
But that's my sweet spot that I really, really love. Because as a business owner myself, I love that help when people are willing to give it to me.
And it's good that you're passionate about that, because people that want to, or they're looking for these kinds of services, they're looking for somebody who believes in it. It's not just, oh, I'm trying to sell you something, or go with this. No, you're truly passionate about it because you see the before and the after.
Yes. One thing that I do a lot, and it's a little embarrassing when I do it, but let's say you're the business owner, I might stand there and sit there and talk to somebody in front of you going, oh, and the company does this and that, and then I need to shut up and go, oh, well, here's the person that's owned it for 30 years. Maybe they could tell you a little something. But I do get so excited, because part of what I have to do is really learn the business to help them, and their goals, and what's really going to help them succeed, and their audience as well. But when I do that, I feel a part of it, and I feel a responsibility to it. But I have done that multiple times. It's a little embarrassing, but I mean, it is part of me being excited about the people I work for.
And it sounds like you're building that relationship with them too.
Yes. We're really lucky that when we work with people, it's really people that we like. And I think maybe it's just people that like us that end up hiring us. We have sort of a certain culture, and it's not super straight-laced. It's really getting to know you, and we want to know, what makes you tick too as a business owner, because I think that's really important.
It is. And from what you shared earlier is that you stated that as you move forward, right? As new things come up, you didn't stay stuck in your ways.
No.
Like you knew you had to update certain things, change probably styles and formats. I don't know the language of your world, right? But
no, but you're absolutely
right.
Absolutely right. You can never become, especially because we're in such a technology-driven industry. I'm really more of the content and the writing and those kinds of things. Those are standards. That never changes, but the technology is constantly changing.
Yeah.
So, there was the advent of website, and everybody, that was a big deal. Next was advent of social media, and everybody, and that did change the world, but it was just another tool in the tool belt. I think the latest challenge and question for people is AI. And, I think everybody has some mixed feelings about that. I really don't like creatives losing their actual artistic work that they do, and I've seen that happen a little bit, but it's also something where you need to know it enough to be able to embrace it and implement it in the right way. So I think that's the next tool in the tool belt that we're attacking right now.
Yeah, that's so important. What would you tell somebody who's watching right now, and they're starting their own business, they don't know where to go, or they're struggling, and now they're trying to figure out, okay, what's the next step when it comes to marketing? What do I need to do?
Call me.
Yes.
And I'm happy to sit down and talk with anybody. And again, part of it is just because I love what I do.
Yeah.
And if I can help you, I will. But I think those first steps are really defining what your company does. And like any organization, you also need to define what you don't do. That's all, when I've served on boards, I do a lot of that nonprofit work too. It's just as important to make sure you can say no to the wrong project, because that's that scope creep, and you can spend a lot of time. But once you know what you do, it's a little easier to define your audience. And once you define your audience, you know how to go after them. And there are far too many people, and we have when we bring somebody on board, we have a whole little questionnaire that sort of helps you get around that. And it asks you kind of some silly questions just to get you out of your own headspace, right? Like if your company were a superstar, which one would it be? Or what's your culture? And that's really what we're trying to figure out. But once you do that, it can really help you define it. But the thing is, so many businesses, the smaller businesses that come in and they're like, my audience is everyone. Everyone needs us. And if everyone needs you, no one needs you. You really need to define that. That is step number one that I would say. And if you can do that, I think you're on your way to being successful.
Okay. Well, write that down and watch this part again. It is very important and a great tip that Jane is offering here today. So no, that's awesome. Thank you. Well, what have been one of the biggest challenges that you've had, and how did you overcome them?
I think it was when, we did a sort of a shift in our business model. Probably because I did some full-time work too when our kids were little and all of those sorts of things, but I always still wrote the scripts and did the admin management. But we did a shift in our business model from just more of one-off work to really that full service work and that sort of retainer work. And we gave ourselves maybe about a year to accomplish that. And the thought was, we either need to hire somebody to do full-time what I do, so I'm not doing two jobs, or I need to quit my full-time job and go back and work for J2 Media full-time instead of just trying to do both. And it was 6 months later and we went, oh my gosh, we were successful, we did it. I need to quit my job. Oh, no, are we going to be able to do that? So that was really big and scary. And, it was constantly like, just one more client and I'll feel good about it. Just one more client and I'll feel good about it. But eventually you finally just have to jump and take that leap, and it's a leap of faith. And like any business, things go up and things go down, and they're tough, and you've just got to get through the struggle and rely on the good relationships you've made along the way.
Very true. And you won't know until you try, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How else would you be able to have more time to invest in something that you believe in, that you're passionate about?
Absolutely. And we believe in our company, we believe in ourselves, we believe in the people that work for us, because we hire nice people that love what they do.
That's good. Being selective, right? And who you're hiring for your company is important.
Yes, absolutely. Because if they don't love it, they're probably not the right fit. And because we love it. And nobody's ever going to love your business. That's another entrepreneurial tip. Nobody's ever going to love your business as much as you do.
True.
As much as we would love them to all, be our cheerleaders all the time, they're not. but they do have to love what they do
Yes.
and working with people, whether it's for our business or somebody else's.
Yeah, otherwise it will show, right?
Exactly. And it does. It shows up every day in how you treat your customers, how you come to work. Whether you have a good day or a bad day, everybody has their bad days.
Yes.
But absolutely.
That's great. Great advice.
Thank you.
Well, who has been your biggest supporter in all of this?
Well, for me personally, it has been my husband, Jason, who, no matter, we obviously support each other through the business. So we work together, we live together, we have fun together, we have kids together, we volunteer together. So that's a lot of togetherness for any company, I think. And, but I know 100%. He is my rock. He has my back. One of the big things I did, because I'm also a Chandler City Council member as well.
Oh, wow.
And so I've been doing that for about 3 years, and we just sort of have a family where we believe in volunteering.
Yeah.
So I've served on boards, he's served on boards, he's been PTO president, baseball president, all the things.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of volunteer work with our company in the community. But that run for council, that was a big deal. And that took me away from the job a little bit. It took me away from the company. It had to, and it still does. You have to have your priorities, because that's a commitment I made. And he is always there, ready to take over the minute that I can't.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had a big health scare last year as well. And so he just stepped in and did his thing, and there we are.
That's beautiful to know that you have somebody that you can count on in the stressful times, in the good times, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so
that's great.
It's wonderful. And then other than that, I would say that, together, we've really built a referral-based business.
Yeah.
And so the people that we have done work for, whether they needed our services one time or for years or however that's worked, have really been our biggest supporters in recommending us to other people.
Well, that's good. You've established that relationship with them, right?
So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We have a couple of companies. I'm like, are you out doing our marketing for us? It's fabulous. Thank you.
That tells you in a business when you're doing the right thing, you have honesty, integrity, you follow through, and you care for the people that you work with. That shows. So
thank you.
Learn from Jay, guys. I'm serious. This is amazing, and I thank you again for taking the opportunity and the time, being that you're so busy, to be here today to do this interview.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on and giving me a chance to yap a whole lot. So I love talking about my business. I love talking about business in general. And so I appreciate what you're doing with this and letting me come on to talk a little bit about my company today.
Thank you. Well, I have one final question for you.
Okay.
How do you stand and empower?
I think no matter what I do, it's looking around and how can you help the people around you? How can I help, whether it's an employee that wants to do something that's either outside of our business or within a business, how can I empower them to take the skills that they've learned here and do better somewhere else? Who are the women, and I especially like to assist women entrepreneurs. That's kind of a personal passion. But how can I refer people to whom they need? I love connecting people, and it's not about me being a part of it, but it's making those connections that allow women and business owners to do better, whether it has anything to do with me or not.
Yeah. That's excellent. That's beautiful that you have that passion for that, and that you're able to empower others, that you're sharing your knowledge, you're sharing tools and wisdom to help them continue to grow.
I hope so. That's a very nice way to put it. I sure hope that's what I'm doing. I try.
No, you are. Well, thank you again for being here. If you guys have any questions for Jane, her information will be in the link, so you can feel free to reach out to her, find out more about her company, what she does, and again, she's a great resource. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time at Stand and Empower.